Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to connect the dots between some absolutely massive global events and your everyday life. We've distilled down everything you need to know for today, August 22nd, 2026. So let's jump right in. We're starting off with a number that is honestly kind of hard to wrap your head around. As the US heads into the weekend facing some really intense geopolitical risks, the national debt has officially crossed the $40 trillion mark for the very first time. It's a staggering figure, and it basically underpins every single thing we're going to talk about today. To make sense of everything going on, we're looking at the global ripple effect today. We'll move systematically through global conflicts, energy shocks, the AI boom, the future of work, and finish up with health, science, and culture.
Okay, Section 1, Global Conflicts and Crises, the shockwaves.
Things are seriously heating up in the Middle East right now. The U.S. is prepping its toughest economic sanctions to date against Iran, and the human cost here is already immense. The Pentagon is reporting that over 750 American troops have been wounded in this conflict, many dealing with traumatic brain injuries. Militarily, the USS George Washington just arrived to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln. Meanwhile, Iran is not backing down, warning that any further pressure could trigger a devastating military response. Meanwhile, back here at home, we have a pretty unique legal situation unfolding. Chief Justice John Roberts has temporarily given the green light for construction to continue on President Trump's planned $400 million White House ballroom. The Supreme Court is stepping in to review whether a massive project like this can actually go forward without explicit authorization from Congress. Shifting gears to a real tragedy in Southeast Asia. 68 people have now lost their lives in Indonesia after that catastrophic magnitude 7.7 earthquake. And making an already heartbreaking situation even worse, a massive 5.9 aftershock just hit the region. It's literally tearing up roads and making it incredibly difficult to get clean water, food, and basic medical supplies to the thousands of people stuck in temporary shelters. Moving on to Section 2, Energy Shocks and Markets, the Economic Impact. So what does international conflict actually mean for your wallet? Well, commercial shipping through the critical Strait of Hormuz has been slashed to roughly 50% of its normal capacity. Ship owners are basically scrambling to assess all the military and insurance risks. Because of this massive bottleneck, Brent crude oil has just surged past $94 a barrel, up over 6% this week alone. That's the highest we've seen since July, and it's sparking some major inflation fears for everything from airline tickets to the gas pump. And you know how Wall Street hates uncertainty, right? Those rising oil prices, combined with surging bond yields, put serious pressure on the markets this week. Despite a solid bounce back on Friday, all three major indexes, the S&P 500, the Dow, and the Nasdaq, ended the week in the red. Investors are just hypersensitive right now to borrowing costs and everything unfolding in the Persian Gulf. All right, Section 3, the AI boom and backlash. Optimism meets skepticism. While traditional markets are sweating, the tech sector is basically on fire. The U.S. still has a commanding global lead in artificial intelligence. Just to put this in perspective, last year, the AI sector pulled in a record-shattering $285.9 billion in private investment. And to keep that momentum going, American tech companies have already taken on $220 billion in corporate debt just in 2026. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. All that financial hype is running headfirst into some massive public skepticism. A new Pew survey shows 40% of American adults actually think AI will do more harm than good over the next 20 years. The pushback is very real. You've got 29 states teaming up to sue Meta over youth safety. Parents are demanding strict safeguards for OpenAI's new ChatGPT for teens. Plus, local communities are actively fighting the incredibly rapid construction of these massive resource-hungry data centers. Speaking of resources, the hardware costs to run all this AI are so mind-boggling that the federal government is looking into something called compute derivatives. Think of this kind of like an insurance policy against the wild price swings of processing power. It's a financial contract tied directly to computing capacity to help these tech giants actually manage the cost of running their massive AI models. And the rest of the world? They are definitely not just sitting on the sidelines. Countries like Brazil and Spain are teaming up using open-source RISC-V architecture. By using this open-source hardware, they're building their own supercomputers. It's a very strategic move to push for tech independence and stop relying so heavily on American monopolies. Which brings us to Section 4, the future of work, adapting to the machine. Now get this. Despite all those billions pouring into AI, tech companies have actually slashed about 120,000 jobs by the middle of this year. The strategy has totally flipped. Speculative hiring is out. New hires are now strictly tied to one thing: revenue generation and actual customer demand.
So, how do you actually survive and thrive in this kind of job market? Managers are essentially looking for three things. First, you've got to mix your core expertise with practical AI skills. Second, and this is a big one, you have to use human judgment to verify AI-generated work, not just blindly accept whatever the computer spits out. And third, stop just listing software tools on your resume. You need to quantify your actual business impact and outcomes.
Here's a fascinating twist, though. This digital AI boom, it's literally driving a massive need for physical blue-collar labor. Building all these high-tech facilities is creating a huge demand for electricians, engineers, cooling specialists, and power system pros. It turns out the invisible digital cloud needs a very real, very massive physical grid to keep it running.
Finally, Section 5, Health, Science, and Culture, the Human Element.
We're currently seeing this wild split screen of our physical reality and our technological future. On one hand, incredibly dangerous heat waves are threatening public health across the South Central states and the Southwest. But at the exact same time, the federal government is pouring $5 billion into AI-assisted research to figure out solutions for chronic illnesses, better health practices, and more durable construction. And speaking of medical science, we've got some genuinely incredible news. Moderna and Merck just reported some highly encouraging results for a new experimental mRNA cancer vaccine. It's totally personalized to the patient and combined with Keytruda to specifically target melanoma. This is a real game changer because researchers think this could fast-track individualized vaccines for a whole bunch of other cancers. Bringing it back to the human element for a second. Amidst all the heartbreak of that earthquake in Indonesia we talked about earlier, medical teams achieved something amazing. Working through destruction and active aftershocks, they safely delivered a premature infant. That child is such a powerful, enduring symbol of human resilience in the face of disaster. So, that leaves us with one really big question to chew on. As we watch this technology map out fault lines, reshape the job market, and literally create groundbreaking cancer treatments, while also sparking huge debates over deepfakes and digital child safety, we have to ask ourselves, are we building a future we can control, or are we building one that controls us? Thanks for tuning into today's Explainer, guys. We'll catch you next time.